thanks for coming, everyone. So this is the first ever table read I've ever been to. In Other News started when I joined a local television channel and I met Scott there. We started making these films on the weekend and just doing kind of tiny little projects. But as we were working at the channel, there were all sorts of mishaps.
Just the kind of the shenanigans and the mishaps that kept happening at the station, were just basically quite hysterical and ridiculous at the same time. And we kind of just thought this could make a very interesting sitcom.
Scene 15, take 1.
And action.
The process behind making the pilot episode was quite a long one for us, actually. First of all, we obviously had to write the episode, and I think there were probably about 6 or 7 drafts in total, because there was a lot of rewrites and a lot of tinkering to make sure it was perfect and what we wanted. We put a call out on Star Now and some other kind of actor networks in Oxfordshire.
I remember we had a table read, we did a photo shoot with our cast, we did about 4 or 5 filming days for the pilot, and we released it at the start of November, and at the same time we launched a Kickstarter campaign to fund the rest of the series.
Yeah, I just thought, this is local and it's just a really interesting, exciting project to, flex myself in, if you see what I mean.
I love the concept of the show, and the pilot episode turned out pretty well in the end. They had a lot of characters to include, in the episode, and they still managed to put together a cohesive story.
So I was emailing Ross and Scott, so they were emailing me saying, we'd like you to come and audition, but we'd like you to audition for the role of Kerry. It's that's one of the main characters. I'm I just want to be an extra.
My first impression of the script was that it was great. Having had a journalism background, a lot of it resonated with some experiences that I'd had.
Running the Kickstarter campaign, I think, was the longest 30 days of my life.
It was a very challenging process, a very long 30 days. There would be one day where we didn't think we were going to get any money. The next day we thought, we're going to overshoot our target and make millions. So just at the start of December, the Kickstarter campaign was successfully funded for just over £6,500.
After we got our total and we reached our goal on Kickstarter, it suddenly became quite clear that we had to make the series. I think there was a lot of work that went in that people didn't see on camera.
So much bloody work, you wouldn't believe it. The amount of times I've gone to Tesco's to get packs of paper because we've printed out more call sheets than someone has had hot dinners is quite frankly ridiculous.
We had to write 5 brand new episodes, and during that we started to get availability for actors, and then looking for locations, and then supporting cast members and extras, and it continued, and it got, I think, more in a way out of control, but we were controlling it, but it was just the fact that it was so much to do.
Editing, importing the footage, having the storage space, the SD cards, trying to get actors availability. I mean, it's like trying to herd cats.
I thought it was funny. I like the idea of mockumentaries. You can develop characters as you go through. Nothing sort of within a tight boundary. There's a lot of evolution of characters, I think, I'd hope.
It's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it thoroughly. There's been a lot of laughs on and off camera.
Really, really lovely cast. Everyone's ready to work. Everyone's happy. Everyone wants to, do the best they can. Everyone's really just great. God, I can't say great enough. They're great. You're great. He's great.
We took a lot of feedback from just people who'd watched the pilot, people in the industry even, to kind of help us go forward from the pilot, because it was very focused on like the mishaps and more of what was happening in the station, and we needed it to be more character driven and have a better story arc, which I think we definitely nailed on the head when it came to writing episode 2, following all the way to episode 6.
I think Scott and I were, in retrospect, a little unhappy with how the structure of the pilot episode went and how we introduced some of the characters, and I think we wished we'd given them each a little bit more interaction together in the pilot. So we kind of set about fixing this straight away in episode 2.
Episode 2 has a nice place in my heart because it was a night shoot in a creepy place. Mostly because I remember that we had to navigate through wild, well, I don't know whether wild, but like big horned cows.
How you feeling, guys?
Okay. I feel elated.
Yeah.
Feel a bit worried. Bovine creatures. Oh yeah, I think I'll never forget episode 2.
The challenges for episode 3, I don't really think occurred until after we shot the episode. We had issues with rain, which wasn't really a big deal, but after we got the episode done, I think a month or so had passed, and then we were in the editing stage of putting the episode together. We started to see that a certain scene in the studio with Henry and Alice just wasn't working, and it was just looking very odd on camera, and the characters were coming across not how we wanted. What we were doing just wasn't working, so we had to make the tough decision to reshoot it.
I'm really glad that we did, because it improved the episode a lot. We managed to just make the scene a little bit more sweeter and actually set up jokes later on in the episode a lot better. So I'm really glad that we didn't just kind of leave that and think, oh well, let's just sweep that under the carpet, you know.
I have 2 favourite moments that spring to mind. My first one is nearly knocking out the director with a Quidditch baton. And the other one is breaking a keyboard over my knee in a laving rage, which I loved doing. I just sort of sat there trying to work myself up into anger, and then found it, and then I got to pick up a keyboard and break it in one stride, which was so much fun.
Yeah, no, I did. I could see myself playing. Like, I don't think, having not acted, having any experience in acting, I couldn't do what Alice does. Do you know what I mean? So I thought Kerry, like, it's a smooth role for me personally. I can do it. So yeah.
Episode 4 is really interesting because you get to see Alice in the wild. She gets to go to a restaurant, and getting to. When she meets Sarah, it's sort of like her nemesis, her evil twin. I really enjoyed that. And working with Jess was brilliant. She was really fantastic, and we had a great war of the eyebrows going on. I enjoyed Alice being able to really let rip with the nastiness, which sounds horrible, but it's not something I get to do in my day-to-day life.
The start of the series, no one really had any time for Connor. Like, even episode 2 is like very much like the run to the litter, I guess. And as it's gone on, obviously some characters have warmed to him more than others, but I think by the end of the series is generally quite well liked, I dare say. Doesn't have a lot of luck, but you know, people are at least tolerating him now, and that's good.
Are you alright?
No different from any other rough and tumble I've had in my time.
Dear Robert Shillingford, okay. Man of my own heart, loves wine, loves gin. So, got my seal of approval straight away. He's a bit of an accident on legs. Things happen to him, most through his own failings.
I like the way that Henry's progressing in the show. I think he's gone from just straight up miserable arsehole to actually caring about the people involved and caring about the people he works with. His sense of humour's coming out more as well, because I think he does have quite a wicked sense of humour, and I think that's put in there little bits at a time, and it's nice to sort of peel that back and see that. And then it's nice when you see him interacting with Connor or with other people or with Tom, and you see that he actually does want the best for these people.
My favourite episode has probably been episode 6, the Alchester Carnival, simply because it was a very fun day.
I think as I've seen each episode progress, I've realised that Alice's story is basically like a love story, but her love interest is the whole team. Like, she falls in love with this team. She would never admit it. But she starts off in the pilot episode as being very self-centred. It's all about her and wanting to look good and do the best, and everyone else is an idiot. And she slowly kind of comes round to all of the characters. Maybe not Will, maybe not ever.
I think Scott would agree with me that we've definitely learned how to write characters and how to write different characters and how to not give too much exposition, you know, not to give too much cheesy dialogue. I think we've learned the most about how you develop characters over a series, because a lot of people of our calibre only ever really make short films, and so the stories are all very self-contained, but we've had a very unique opportunity in that we've been able to shoot a series, so we've really developed learning how to shape a show over a whole arc and a long process.
I think that I, as a filmmaker, have developed massively. Like I said, when we started this project, I don't think it was something I really thought was actually going to go anywhere. But the way it kind of went from a pilot to being a successful Kickstarter project to now having 6 complete episodes of a series that me and Ross wrote on our own, based on our own experiences, still kind of baffles me to this day. But it's definitely taught me some massive life lessons.